Hello everyone, it's Andrew from Gem TCG here, and in today's video I'll be going through how I sort, process, and list TCG cards on TCGPlayer in the most efficient way possible, and how I'm able to list like upwards of 500 cards an hour manually. So I'll show you the entire process of how that looks like with a sample stack like this. I'm using a small stack, but usually it's more like 1,000 cards at a time, but I don't want to bore you guys by showing me just sorting thousands of cards. So I'll just use this for an example because sorting cards manually is a pretty tedious task and it also takes a lot of time. And you also have to memorize a lot of cards and reference a lot of cards that are worth pulling when you're pulling cards from bulk. Which brings me to the sponsor for today's video, which is the CardBot from Card Castle. And for those of you that don't know, the CardBot is your all-in-one automation solution for sifting and listing cards on TCGPlayer and other platforms. You can just drop in like 1,000 cards and it'll sift through up to 1,000 cards an hour and then process them and list them on TCGPlayer or any other platform that you prefer at the click of a button. So what this means is that there's no more sifting through and looking through thousands of cards manually because the CardBot will do it for you, which will allow you to focus on what matters most, which is growing your inventory and making more sales. And the CardBot currently supports the big four TCGs, which are Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Lorcana. And the best part is that it's one of the more affordable automation tools and sifting machines, so you won't have to break the bank to get this. And if you are interested, check out CardBot with the link in the description down below. But let's head on over to the process. So first I will have the stack of cards that I plan on listing. Right now I'm just doing like 15 to 20 cards, nothing crazy. And the first step is to sort it by era. So what I mean by that is like Scarlet Violet going together, Sun and Moon going together, and then Sword and Shield going together. And the reason why I do that is because there are only a certain amount of sets for each era, so it makes it a lot easier when you're dealing with bigger amounts of bulk. So that way you're not sorting through like 50 different sets at once. You only have a certain amount because Scarlet Violet has like 12 different sets, I think. Sun and Moon has probably like 15 different sets. Same with Sword and Shield. So by limiting it and filtering it, it makes it a lot easier to sort by the set. So let's do that right now. Scarlet Violet, and then these are all the Sun and Moon cards. And then this is the Sword and Shield one. So now, instead of having one huge stack of cards, I have 3 stacks of cards. And I know this example is like much smaller, but imagine thousands of cards. It makes it a lot easier to handle. So then what I'll do here is I'll start with the smallest stack just to get more room. So this one only had 1 card in it, so I'll just put it to the side. Scarlet Violet right here, there are 4 cards. And then what I will look for is this right here, the set symbol. Well, for Scarlet Violet, it's a letter, but for the older sets, there is a symbol right here. The symbols made it a lot easier to tell which set it came from. With the Scarlet Violet era, it's a lot harder now because you have to like read the letters. But what I will do here is I will then sort it by set. So like right here, Stellar Crown, Paldean Fates, Scarlet Violet Base, and then Paldean Fates. And when I have it sorted by set now, I will then go in and sort it alphabetically. So right here, it would just be like I and then N, simple, and then that goes on its own stack. And then I will just put them on top of each other and they go in the finished pile. Then we move on to the last one, which has the most cards, and then we'll sort it by set again. So Cosmic Eclipse, base set, Guardians Rising, Cosmic, base, Hidden Fates, Guardians, base, Cosmic. And you will, over time, you'll get more used to like which symbol means what and which cards go to which era, or like which sets are within which era. Most times for the era thing, you could just tell by the way that the card is designed and like the color. Like Sun and Moon cards to me look more bright than the Sword and Shield era cards. The XY era cards look a lot darker. There's a different like shade to them. So over time you will pick up on that skill. And then you just do it by set. This one has one card. These, I mean, this is a random example, but these are hollow commons because they are like a miscellaneous type of card. So they're not actually the Guardians Rising set. So I won't actually be looking from there. And I'll show you what to do when you get cards like this. So I'll put that on its own pile. And then this one, it goes, I would put the highest letter at the bottom and go up to like, so go from Z to A, if that makes sense. And then right here again, all one card. So right now I have the cards that I will be doing with the quick method and then the card that I'll have to search manually. And I will show you now what it looks like on the TCGPlayer dashboard to actually do that. So what you'll want to do is head on over to the TCGPlayer dashboard, and then you will want to go to this pricing tab right here. So when you go here, right now I'm going to be listing Pokemon cards, so I'll do that. And then click on the advanced filters. Condition, I only list near mint cards now because I just prefer to list like the lightly played to damaged cards in auctions on eBay. And I made a video about how to do that in a profitable way. So check that out if you're interested, but yeah. So for me, I'm just gonna be filtering on the condition. I'll make it near mint only. Printings, you don't have to change. The only time I find this one to be worth it is if I'm listing like a base set or fossil, jungle, any of the Wizards of the Coast era cards, you'll wanna be worrying about this, but most times you won't. Rarities, this can be utilized in like a more niche scenario. So like if I'm listing a bunch of, let's just say rare ace cards, which are those pink trainer cards, then I'll just filter for this and do it like that instead of doing what I'm about to show you, which is filtering by set. Because most times it's just easier to filter by set because that's how you're gonna store it in your inventory. So you wanna list it in the same method. So then right now I'll be starting with the Sun and Moon base cards. So we'll scroll down and then we'll look at SM base. Search right here. And then you're gonna want to make this items per page to be 500. And you could just scroll down all the way until you find the card you want, but I will just do this, which is, you can't see it up top, sorry, the video is not showing it, but do Control F and then just type the card name that you wanna look for. Then you will click this match market price and then just set it, because I just charge market price and then I have the mass price tool update the cards daily. So I don't mind setting it at the market price, even if it's below what my minimum is, because my minimum is actually 50 cents. But if I list it and it sells right away, I don't mind selling it for below what my minimum is. And then just type in 1. I have 2 reverse hollows. I'll type in 2. Then you just scroll down and click save. And it's pretty quick. Now let's go to Cosmic Eclipse because that's what the next one is. Again, Control F, Cynthia and Caitlin, reverse hollow 1. I could scroll down. So like as you can see, scrolling is a lot slower. And right here, Guzzlord, and like this is just a good little tip. If you were to see these 2 cards, you wouldn't expect much out of them. Like you'd see that it's a Sun and Moon era reverse hollow, but then you look at the market price and it's actually a $7 card. So definitely be like, pay attention to what you have and don't just put everything in bulk, because some cards are a lot more expensive than you would think. Then the last one, Rosa Hollow, put that there. And speaking of which, I actually have a tool coming out that we'll be launching in a few days. It's to track cards that go up high in price. So if you're interested in joining the waitlist, go to my website, gemtcg.com/TCG-watch, and I'll link it in the description as well. But check that out if you're interested in like seeing when cards spike up in price so that way you can find them quicker and be like more aware. And next we go to hidden fates, Misty's determination, reverse hollow. So it's just a lot quicker when you click match the market price. Someone commented on my other video, they said it's very hard to find cards and then like, or it just takes a long time to find the cards they want to sell and then individually type in their like minimum price. And I just let them know, like, just click the match button. It sets it for you. You just have to click a button instead of typing in every number. And it's really worth it. And then you could just run the script, like the mass price tool at the end. And one thing I should have mentioned earlier is that I think this pricing tool is only for level 4 sellers. So try to get to level 4 as soon as possible because this helps a ton and it saves you a bunch of time compared to just using the inventory tool and then typing in every single card, because that could be very time consuming and the loading times on those is just very slow. So I don't recommend doing that if you can. And of course, like when you're first starting off, you can't control that, but just try to get to that level as soon as possible so that way you could use this tool. And then we're almost done. I just have one more set left, which is the Sword and Shield base for this pricing tool. And then I'll show you guys what to do for the inventory tool for that card that I just found that isn't the actual set, but it's like a miscellaneous card. So then go to inventory and you'll type in the card name, which is Salandit. So I search that up here and then do the 500 just in case. And then what I do is Control F and then I type in the number of the card. So as you can see here, like the actual card is this one. This is just a regular common, no hollow. But then this one is the card that I'm looking for. As you can see, it doesn't say hollow, but you could tell it's like based on that picture and then it's just a promo, you know it's a hollow. So then you click on it, match the near mint, enter the quantity, and then set it aside. And then you do the same thing for the other one. Type in the number to find it, and then you just enter the quantity, and that's it. So it's very easy. And then what I recommend doing if you are a pro seller is you go to this mass price thing, and I have a video on my channel on like how to set up these rules so that you can set a minimum price and always match the market every single day. So that way your cards aren't like out of date with the pricing. And since I just listed a bunch of Pokemon English cards, I will run the Pokemon English rule, which is somewhere over here. Let me find it. Okay, right here, minimum price 50-cent Pokemon. Then you just run the rule. And you don't have to do this. This is just like if you're worried about listing a bunch of cards and then your stuff being really cheap and you don't want to sell it at that below your minimum price. So you could just run it. I've never done that before, but if you want to, feel free to do it. And then once you finish, just store it in your inventory the same way that you listed it. So like if I listed this stack of Cosmic Eclipse cards in alphabetical order, you're going to want to go to your currently listed like Cosmic Eclipse cards and then match it in the same way. That way your things don't get mixed around and you don't mess up anything or make any mistakes, because the worst thing to do is have a bad storage system, because it will take a lot of time to find the cards that you're looking for if you don't have it organized properly. And I've run into this issue a lot, especially with TCGPlayer, because there's so many cards. Even making like one simple mistake can cause a huge amount of time wasted. So that's my piece of advice. And this was just a small example, but just imagine it on a bigger scale. You'll be able to work a lot quicker by doing this pricing method and then filtering it based on what you need. You could even filter for like the price range if you're listing, if you want to look for expensive cards. So like, let's just see, like we wanted to see everything above 50 cents, near mint, and then let's do common and uncommon. And then we search, you'll see 40 different cards. It looks like this is not working. Hold up. That's weird. Okay, it's not completely accurate, but oh, that's because my marketplace price is 51 cents. I think it's showing that. So yeah, if you do like a price range, you could even filter for the ones that are expensive. And this could help when, let's say you bought a stack of cards that are already organized, you already have them by set. You could just look through this page and then find all the cards that are above a certain price range. So like in this example, if I had a bunch of Sword and Shield cards, I would then look, I would say, okay, if I see an air balloon, pick that out. Drizzle, pick that out. Haunter, all these energy reverse hollows, Pokey Gear, which is the one I listed just now. So that's another tip. And that's also why the sponsor of this video is very helpful, because it will do that for you, like automatically. So again, thank you Cardbot for sponsoring this video. And I really hope you guys found this one helpful, because this saves me hours per week in listing cards, and it leads to me making like thousands of dollars per year with just bulk cards. So definitely give it a shot. Let me know how it goes. And if you have a better method or you want to share any advice, feel free to comment that down below, and we can all learn from each other. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.